Here that are not at the beach for spring break. Just not today. Awesome. Awesome. Well, thanks guys for being here. Sammy, you want to move out and join us? You want to stay in the back? Yeah.
I'm back here with Joy.
Back there with Joy. Okay. Well, thanks everyone for being here. I can't believe it is first week of April. Anybody get any good April Fool's jokes in yesterday?
Yes, my daughter got.
Okay.
She went to Florida with her 8th grade friend when she got stung with a stingray. So I immediately fell for it because I've been stung. So she
Oh, the moment here, Danica. Get down there. Are you in the hospital?
yeah, and he doesn't work, FYI, just hot water. Okay, hot water works.
Hot water works.
Yes.
Don't need the no one's the pee.
Yes.
Good to know. Good to know. Awesome. All right. Any bucket fills anybody like to share this week? Anything good going on? Contracts coming soon? Big events? Life events? Anything?
I have a buyer that's their under contract.
Hey, Demetria, the speakers are all flashing red.
They've been splitting.
Okay. Oh, I just noticed that and I'm like, what's that mean?
Yeah.
Like, is the about to take off? Or I'm about to ask you. Yeah. Well, congratulations. That's awesome. Anybody else have anything they want to share?
I actually do. Well, I met with my coach because I'm doing the coach program, so that's great. Yes, and then the second part is I have a listing, a future listing to nurture and hopefully grab. I found out through Philippines to Puerto Rico September. So
Okay.
and it's a good one.
Awesome.
So,
Yeah. Good job. Anybody else? Right. Tiffany? Okay, well, I need to move her to the last.
Yeah.
I need to shift her around.
Yeah.
Well, I know Kelly's not here. Nikki, Joy, and Tim, come on up. Oh, Nikki's here. No, okay, that's great. Come on up, Guarantee Mortgage.
NJT.
So y'all didn't get to go to the tea or conference?
No.
You're all together.
We have intention on making a living.
Good.
There you go.
So everybody
We
can
have
get contract, let's. And it actually been busy. This weekend over Easter I thought it'd be quiet. A lot of calls and busy. So that's good. You guys will quickly. I don't know, we don't have anything specific to.
No.
Well, one thing I was thinking about, always try to get a second opinion for your buyers, like other buyers. Let's look at it, even if we don't end up doing a loan, get another set of eyes on it, because yesterday, just for example, I got a couple of estimates for an investment property, and there are just certain things that we notice that the customer might not. Taxes and insurance, way off, number one. Low, very low. So I'm just very realistic for people, and I want the numbers to be correct. So I want the taxes to be as close as possible. So I just pointed out several things that I noticed for them. So just even if I don't get it, and let you guys know too, as far as a buyer to be qualifying, I'm very honest. And I'm going to tell you if there's a problem or maybe a flag or some issue up front. Better know up front, right? Instead of it's just like
I like to find out on closing day.
right. No, and
Because
you guys run into us and say, "Oh, I got this deal, and let me tell you what's going on," and you're in a panic mode. Let us look at it first. And again, we talked about this last week. Soft credit pools. Let us do a soft credit pool. We can see a lot of that too. So anyway, just kind of some good advice. Yeah. It's kind of like I always compare to a fine. But I like to know when if the pilot comes on and tells me it's going to be a rough road. I'd rather know that up front than in the middle of turn around. Yeah. So I always think about that. Awesome.
Perfect. That's it.
We can't go to sleep.
Tiffany, come on up. I was just saying, I'm going to switch you, and the rest of that way you're going to like catch your breath before you walk in.
I had a 9 o'clock, but it was for Keller Williams.
So in honor of spring break and my spring allergy eyes, I thought I would talk about something that comes up a lot right now. With people traveling, and your options for if your buyers or sellers can't be. So, if you have sellers who can't be at closing, there's three options. The number one easiest thing is to have sellers come in and sign early. Sellers can sign early. That we're not in any kind of restrictions with that. So if they're leaving on Friday and they want to come sign today, that's no big deal at all. We can explain they can sign early. And so that tends to be the easiest. The second option is a power of attorney. That is the second easiest option. And that can be for buyers and sellers. So that is, you have to have somebody who can come in your stead and sign for you. We do have to do a alive and well call is what it's called, to make sure that the day of closing that they're still and then they haven't heard the power of attorney. I know. You people try and use powers of attorney for dead people. Yeah. So you can't sign for someone who couldn't sign for themselves. Really? Crazy town. But that, it does require a little bit more time for the closing, but it's not that bad, especially on the seller side, because sellers don't have that much to sign. On a buyer side, just remember that has to be approved through the lender. Joyce. Yes, you're right. Well, with spring break and with summer coming up, it's just something that this comes up a lot here. So the lenders have to know why they're signing as power of attorney, why they can't be there. So, when I started 18 years ago, like some people would just use a power of attorney because one person wanted to stay home and meet the movers and one person wanted closing. That's no longer. So it really has to be like a genuine issue of why somebody can't be at closing. I'm going to be out of town for work. We're job related. Take notes. Yeah. Job related is good. Yeah, right. Have a work trip. So you're in Vegas.
Right. Detail.
But you do have to have that approved, and we have to send that power of attorney to the lender, have them approve it, make sure that it works with their underwriting and everything to meet their requirements. It has to list the specific loan they're getting, the buyer, the seller. It has to be specific that transaction. The third and most expensive and least favorable option on my end is the mailing. So that's where we actually have to find either a title company or another attorney or an approved mobile notary service to go sign with them. We do it all the time. Like we make it work. It's not that difficult, but notoriously, things get missed. They don't sign it properly. They don't notarize it properly. We have to have a loan package like 2 or 3 days early because we have to get everything ready to email away. And then you can't fund until those original documents backed up. So say your closing date is today, the sellers have to come in and sign today, buyers sign today, say in Indiana, wherever they are. And then we have to wait to fund till the next day. So the sellers have signed everything, but they don't get the money till the fall. So, that's it happens all the time. It's not a big deal, but that is our third favorite option. But that has to be approved early on in the lending process, and it has to be approved by our title insurance underwriters. And it just takes a lot more orchestrating. So the earlier we know if your people aren't going to be there, the better. Seller mailaways are a lot easier. Not that many documents, but just let us know. I mean, people travel, especially coming into the summer. People get sick. But those are just things to think about. If you hear that, you guys are normally the first line of defense of, I know you're traveling, or I know I had one last week where the husband signed because his wife was in the hospital. She had a baby today. If you know these things are coming, the earlier we know and prepare for it. Awesome. Thank you.
On seller mail away, I know that fraud is one of the things that we're ensuring against. So how can we help you
Come back up.
So it is a big question. And that's why we have to use like approved notaries. So people are like, well, there's a notary in my office. Like, yeah. So we have to use a notary that's either a title insurance company, another closing attorney, or approved through. We use 2 different services that go through like extensive that kind of stuff, notaries, to make sure they're actually checking the IDs and all that. But something that's coming to O'Kelly, and you may have seen it in other firms already, is we're gonna be going into detailed ID checks in the closing process. So it's gonna be one of those things where when we send out our information sheet, they're gonna have to submit their IDs, and then it's almost like when you do a credit check where you have to say like, out of these 5 addresses, which one have you lived in? Have you owned these 4 you know what I mean? So that's where the industry is moving to make sure early on in the process we have verified IDs, verified. The horror story I always tell is from last year. I had a lady call me and she's like, long story short, you're closing on my property, but I'm not selling it. And
What's our office, within our office, yeah.
And so I said, I called the person who claimed to be the seller, and she's like, this is my ID, like, this is me, how can somebody else claim that they own my property? Then I talked to the other lady again, and she was local and said, I was like, can you just come here to my office with your ID? She's like, I'll be there in 30 minutes. She shows up, shows me her ID. It's clearly her. It's a good ID. And I was like, once I was convinced it was her, like, let me show you the ID that this other person provided. And she whips out her phone and pulls up Facebook. And somebody had lifted her Facebook picture, literally made an ID, like legit looking Georgia ID picture, and was trying to sell it. So I mean, that kind of stuff is happening all the time. And that's just one example. And that was just the best, I guess the most thorough that I had seen so far.
What would have happened if you? What would the end result have been true?
Yes. Yeah, it would have been that. The owner of the property would have been out. The new owner would be subject to lawsuits. The title insurance company that we wrote with that underwrote that transaction would be the one that has to help fight it in the future. Yeah. So that's why we're doing that. So when your sellers complain and buyers complain, that's why. But I think it'll be much better if we get that knocked out early in the transaction. We're actually kind of being courted by different companies right now and trying to figure out where we're going to go. But that is coming from the seller.
Yeah, that's great. You're finding attorney.
We just have to know where we're trying.
Sellers with dementia.
Mhm.
So how do we verify that? I know how we handle it. But how do you handle it?
So if are you talking about when using a power of attorney or when they're trying to sign themselves?
Just them themselves.
Okay. So in Georgia, the only rule is the notary has to be convinced that they're in like a state. They're conscious and there. So there's not very much. But if you have any, like I've only had one in my career, and it wasn't bad. It was somebody was really intoxicated. That
I'm right here.
David. Yeah. But I only had one that I was like this. But that's the only rule in Georgia. But if you're trying to sign for somebody has a power of attorney, and they can't verify they haven't had it. They're like, if we can't use the Latin law publisher, and we can't have more
Okay.
explaining our.
Okay.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
All right, thanks, Stephanie. Then we got Dan with Georgia Camino, and then Homeward with John, which they are coming this month for a class as well, which will be great. Any of our partners in the house, please stand up. Okay, can we get to? Stephanie, you can go first. Stephanie, please. Very nice chick.
Sammy Baker, contractor with Best Postage. You did want to go to one thing that
Yes.
I went to look at a house and the agent used a fair warranty on the house. The other company went for me. She wanted to go was going to force that the poly had to go down before they would do termite. Two have nothing to do with it. Is it good to have poly down moisture barrier? Yes, but the two are not tied together. Termite treatment.
Good to know. Thank you for the tip. Awesome. Thank you for being our partner. April. So got a lot going on. The third, the Broken Boys CE class, 1 to 4. Patrick will be here next Monday. This is a in-person workshop. You are going to physically get on your computer and do Facebook ads. It's going to walk through the whole process. You can post something before you leave the room. So it'll be super interactive. So come prepared for that. Homework is coming on the 11th. Demetria's got her class on the 16th for website, agent websites. Kim and I are still doing our 11 to 12 activity-based class. The mortgage training is the 9th and 23rd at 12:30, or it says 1:30. I think that was the. Oh, yeah, it's at 12:30. We'll have to change that. Also, we have another CE class coming that's social media related, strategies for domination in 2024 to stop the scroll or win the scroll. With Alyssa and then Rachel Davenport the 24th. Thea is doing a beginner's guide to social media on the 24th in that afternoon. David, you got some stuff coming up the 25th, 1 to 3, level up your coaching. Sunrise Mixer the 25th at Papa Jack's, aka breakfast, yummy. And then Holly will be here the 30th for Fierce Negotiations. Coaching Corner, we got Fire Boot Camp on the 13th. The coaching call is Monday through Friday, 9 to 9:30. And then coaching classes, which everybody is welcome to this. See the dates on there, and it's also on the calendar.
Is that
No. Ignite? No. It is not Ignite. We have group meetings coming up the 10th and the 11th. So if you are not part and want to be a part of one of these groups, these are the times they meet here at the Market Center. So please, you can show up. No registration required and be a part of these. Career Day is on the 20th. Headshots is coming the 15th, 9 to 4. This is by appointment. They come and hang out all in the conference room for the day. So there's a QR code. Also will get posted everywhere that you can sign up to get if you need to get new headshots for the year. And then save the date again for Jordan. Who in here has seen or knows who Jordan is or listens to him? Anybody? Value Square. Has anybody watched this yet? Good job. They'll watch it. Okay.
It brings a lot of value, especially when you're communicating not just with your buyers and improving your value with your buyers. Also, discussions around commission and buyer agent compensation, seller as you're taking it.
Yes. I cannot encourage you guys enough to register. There's 2 more sessions, the 10th and the 25th. Please sign up for one of these and watch it. It is invaluable information just about KWRI and what's going on and how to handle conversations and the value that they're here to support us with. No, they're all the same. They're doing it 4 times. And it is with Gary, Jason, and Mark. Like they are like in a room live and this whole thing. So it's very, very good. And I highly recommend. They say at some point we're gonna get recording of it. I don't know how long that will be, but because we are in the heat of all these conversations right now, I would jump on as soon as possible. Real estate school coming up. This is our evening course. Starts the 30th. If you know anybody looking to get into real estate, that's here at the office. Correct, David? That's here.
Yep. The instructor is amazing.
Super funny guy.
vouch any higher for that guy.
There you
That
go.
guy's amazing.
MAPS coaching, the free fast track coaching just got updated. So lots of stuff on here that starts April 4th. That's all online. Is RJ on? Okay, so Reminder Media. Anybody here use Reminder Media or know what it is? I only have one packet because they only sent one. I'll pass it around if you guys can look at it. This is customizable media marketing stuff that this company does. Several of our agents in the Market Center use this. RJ, are you there?
Yes, ma'am, I am. Good morning.
All right, show is yours.
All right, awesome. Well, good morning, guys. I appreciate you letting me do a little presentation here for you guys. Is there any way you could take yourself as the host so I can share my screen with you guys?
Yeah, hit stop share. There you go.
Okay, awesome.
There you go. You're up.
All right. Awesome. Well, good morning. My name is RJ Sargent. I am one of the marketing advisors here at Reminder Media. Just a little background on our company. We've been in the real estate game now for 20 years. Actually started in a little garage based out of Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, and have grown significantly over those years. And just the way that we've been able to help agents connect better with their sphere of influence and their past clients. Today's little presentation, I won't take up too much of your time, is just going to be about how important it is coming into the busy season here with all of the different things we have going on with making sure we're staying connected with those past clients and sphere of influence. As you'll see up on the screen there, last year NAR tells us that the numbers say about 60% of buyers, almost 70% of sellers found their agent through a referral or by using the agent that they had previously used. A quick question, anybody can yell this out. What percentage last year do you think of people found their agent strictly just from doing research on the internet alone, just website visits, traditional farming stuff? Any guesses?
40%.
40%. Okay. Actually, if you look on here, what you'll see is it's about 5% of sellers ended up going with somebody they did their own research on. What that's kind of told us is that while people do go online, check out houses, do the research on agents, when it actually comes time to find the agent, they're going to go with somebody they've either previously used or somebody that's referred to them by a family member or a friend. And another little slide here that you'll see is just a little study last year in 2023 of where most of the agents were spending their money last year. A lot of different things up there. We need to use, all of those tools there. But if you see at the very bottom, there's about 63% of agents last year spent $0 on referral and relationship-based marketing. And unfortunately, about 65% of all listings last year came from referrals. So our philosophy really has been making sure that we're putting at least 65% of our time and energy into tapping into that. Because ideally, the last thing we want to see is, whether it's a past client, family member, friend, you drive by, you see that for sale sign and it doesn't have your name on it. So these are really the opportunities that we want to help avoid for you guys. And we have a couple of different tools that we utilize here. So on the screen there, you're going to see 4 different publications. We have one that is called Business in Action. All centered more along the lines of interviews with entrepreneurs, stock market tips, things along those lines. A Start Healthy, health, wellness, nutrition, overall living a healthy lifestyle. The American Lifestyle was the flagship we started with in 2004. That's going to have content centered around like just travel, art, leisure, something that works for everybody. But the real bread and butter is the Good to Be Home. That is the publication we released most recently that is dedicated completely to real estate and home ownership. We'll feature things in DIY tips, home improvement, recipes, kitchen remodeling, basically just something for the everyday homeowner. What makes it unique is each one of these, though, is personally branded with all of your information. And we give you spots of customization that you can feature things in, like past client testimonials, a listing you maybe want to feature. Some people will feature their business partners. Maybe you have a lender you work with specifically, because the idea is we literally want this to look like something you have designed and created entirely on your own. Really kind of help make you the market expert, so to say, in terms of real estate. On the front cover, you'll be branded right on the front. It'll be compliments of you. We have tons of different covers for you to choose from. However, the real success is on the inside cover. There is a template that each one of these can be personalized down to the individual. So it could be the anniversary of you selling them a home. You may just know something personal about them. You can get as detailed and specific as you like, so that when they receive it, not only do they think that you have designed, created your own real estate publication, but that you made that one specifically for them. Couple other features in there. We have a couple tear out cards that we do full customization on. Anything you really want on there. I'd say probably about 80% of our agents end up doing little recipes. We just found out that a vast majority of people will tear out those recipe cards and hang on to them even longer than the 4 to 6 week shelf life we actually track on the publication itself. back cover, the back inside and the back cover itself, full customizable spots. That's usually where someone's going to feature a listing or some of those past client testimonials. Again, the idea is whether, this is face up, face down on a coffee table, or they're thumbing through it, we want them seeing your picture and your contact info, basically serving as a mini billboard for you. We utilize this just because, it's different. We have other things out there that are effective in terms of maintaining those relationships. You can see on the screen there, some of them just really aren't the most cost effective if we're going to do them on a regular basis. And then the things that typically are cost effective generally don't have that very long of a shelf life. So our goal really on this is something that encompasses both. It's cost effective for you, but also is meaningful, something that your clients are going to enjoy receiving. And also gives you a great reason to make a follow-up call to check in on, hey, did you get that publication, that I sent over to you? Did you try some of the recipes? Really using that as a way to see who do they know coming up into the summer that's going to be needing a realtor, or even something as simple as if they like it, who's maybe a couple people they think would also enjoy receiving it from you. The number one thing we stand on is just the fact that we have that longer shelf life. It's different than the postcards, the newsletters, the things that, usually it's about however many steps from their mailbox to the recycling or the garbage more often than not, to where something like this is going to keep you in that home longer term there. Couple other things I did want to highlight, but I will take a little pause right there to see if on the publications themselves, if anybody out there has any questions on the customization concept, really, anything you may think of there.
Anybody have a question? Amy, go ahead.
I don't have a question, but.
Are you okay?
Yeah, sorry, I have allergies. I just signed up for this.
Yep.
At Baylor Union, they had a good special.
Yeah.
So I was just letting you know. And it
Awesome.
just came in and it's really pretty. I mean, it looks just like the example, but very impressive. I mean, to me.
Mhm.
But I'm sending it out to like my leads and my pipeline of people that haven't done this. Just because it's something different.
Mhm.
And
Yeah.
I'm also going to put it in like my dentist office, other places that are local to where I do business.
Yeah, where people sit and look at it.
So anyway, that's just, I'll let you know
Yeah.
what the results
CBD.
are.
Yeah, CBD.
Absolutely.
Yeah, we have several
Absolutely.
agents signed
And I
up.
have some vendors that also, join me in some of the patient back of it. So
Mhm.
we like to see what their results.
Awesome.
And Sammy,
Ah,
going in.
awesome. Great idea. Thanks for sharing.
Good. Absolutely. Yeah.
RJ, what's the turnaround time? So say somebody, once they say, yes, I want to do it and get through the whole process to finalize the book so they can get it sent out. What does that look like?
About 4 or 5 weeks. Usually once we get the headshot, any photos that you want to feature, and then the list of people that for sure you would want to target with this. Usually about 4-week turnaround time whenever we kind of get that final deadline approved, get the sample ready, and then by the time it goes to print and hit the client's home. For example, this week, it's basically our final week that we can guarantee getting into the home before Memorial Day. So that's been a real big push for this week to make sure we're helping you guys get ahead of that opportunity. Just because usually it's when we're going to start having, the pool parties, the backyard barbecues, just a great time to be in that presence of opportunity when they're going to be gathered around family and friends.
Gotcha.
And that's typically, I'm glad whoever was sharing there kind of went with a couple different ways that we utilize these. Because if there's somebody newer out there, not a seasoned vet that maybe has that many past clients to be targeting, we do have other ways that this can be used. So we do have the ability to look in a surrounding area, even get down to just say a 5-mile radius and show you exactly how many people in that neighborhood are most likely to be needing a realtor. Can even get precise on those people to get down to, let's say, single family homes, over 200K household income. Our goal really is when we're using these, whether it's past client sphere or even targeting, some maybe prospects there, is we want to be precise. We don't want to just throw empty dollars away. We want to make sure we're helping you guys target the correct people. And then also mentioning the fact that like leaving it a dentist office, hair salon, doctor office, That's just great to leave one in a waiting room because you're utilizing the foot traffic of that business, probably some people you wouldn't regularly be in contact with. And we actually do a little landing page for you guys. There's a QR code on these that's scannable. So let's say it's sitting in that doctor office, somebody's checking that out, they scan that QR code. It goes right to a landing page that we keep housed for you. We give you a text message, email, let you know this was a lead, that was checking you out, somebody you need to be following up on. And then all the articles that we feature in those publications, we actually give you access to a social media library. So any of the content you think would be relevant, you're able to pick and choose some of those topics and share those right onto your social media page, just kind of part of the package that we do for you guys. And then what we do is we do this on a trial basis. So I'm sure, you have a lot of people that talk to you over the months, years, and, everybody has the next best idea. And I'm a little biased. I think this is one of the better ideas out there, but I also love the fact that we don't like to tie anybody into any sort of commitment or subscription. Our goal the past 20 years is we want somebody to be able to try this one time, get the feedback from their clients, ultimately see how it works for them, and then decide if it would be something they'd like to make a more permanent part of their marketing strategy. So the way that these break down, these are $4.99 a piece. That actually includes everything. So that's all the printing, customizations. We take care of all the shipping and handling, regardless of where we're sending it to. We do a minimum of 50 on these. And you can divide those 50 up however you want. So if you knew you had 25, 30 top pass clients you wanted to target, you wanted some of these for yourself to use at those open houses or to drop to local businesses, we can divide the 50 up however you like. So you're looking at an investment on the publication of $249.50. Now with us, because we do have that turnaround time, you actually don't pay that cost until these are ready to be shipped out. Basically, you get a chance to work with the marketing team, have it looking exactly the way that you want it to look. And once it's ready to be approved and get sent to the printing press is when you'll cover the cost of those publications. The only other cost is just a one-time account activation. Normally throughout the year, it's $300, but because we're partnered there with your office, we are allowing everybody to try this out one time for just $99. Now that goes towards a couple things, and you also never pay that again, even if you would continue after that one-time trial. That just goes towards getting you an active account, which will get you signed into our dashboard where we'll have that social media library for you. We also have a resource library of open house kits, door hangers, flyers, tons of marketing materials and different resources for you guys to use. And you actually get your own personal marketing coach. So the person that's really going to be able to do all the heavy lifting for you, answer any questions, help you put all of this together there. That pretty much is, the way we operate on these. Again, after the trial, we'll leave it up to you. If it was something you enjoyed and you were like, I definitely see value in making this a more regular part of my marketing strategy. We update our content every 2 months. We kind of find monthly was a little overkill just because we track that 4 to 6 week shelf life. So really found that, every other month, so 6 times a year was kind of the sweet spot and making sure that we stay in touch with those important clients there. So if it is something that you enjoy after the trial and you would like to continue, we can look at getting you on one of those regular schedules. And you're always able to update, the list for yourself. If you've got some people you want to take off, some you want to add, maybe you want more on the next one for yourself. So we leave that entirely up to you how you do want to split those up for yourself there.
Okay, awesome.
Any questions on that?
No, I think we're good. We appreciate your time.
Absolutely. And again, if anybody wants a little follow-up for me to kind of go in more detail, we're doing a little special. We're going to hold the promotion for you guys here for a couple weeks. But today and tomorrow, since by the end of this week, we would need a headshot and list ready to get in the home before Memorial Day. Anybody that thinks they want to give this a try can scan that code or just simply write down that number. That's a text line right to me. And if anybody wanted to jump on that trial today or tomorrow, we'll actually kick you over 15 extra of these on that trial mail out. So you'll get 65 for the price of 50. It's like a $75 credit for you. If this was something you wanted to get out into the home before Memorial Day. So again, anybody has any questions on that, just shoot me a message or scan that code and I'd be happy to follow up with you.
Awesome. Thank you so much. We really appreciate it.
Absolutely appreciate it. Thank you guys so much. Bye-bye.
Bye. Okay. Anyway, we have several agents that use that, and so they work in Reunion. A lot of it's an approved KDRI vendor, and they just do a great job. So as you guys are looking at the stuff, usually that's in a big box, and everybody can take some of the stuff home, but this time they just sent one. But anyway, I know people have been really happy with them. KWNG team meeting. So what's next? So as you guys know, we had originally planned on the Run Your Business Like a Business. That was going to be our 4-week series for team meeting for the next 4 weeks. Well, the instructor got fired. So we had to pivot yesterday, really on Friday, to understand what that looked like. So you will get an updated calendar. I've got some great speakers coming in for the month. And so just know that today was kind of like, all right, it's going to be an amazing day. And I'm so glad that you guys that are here have not heard Jordan Freed. I had Jordan zoom in to our ALC meeting last fall. Amy, you were there. And did an interactive video with us. It's about 20 minutes, but it gives you, if you're going to write down some stuff, if anybody doesn't have paper, please let me know. Because last year seemed like a weird year. Today feels like a weird year. There is just so much noise going on. I think that what he has to say is so applicable to what's going on right now in the real estate world. And just talking about your mindset and your willings match your wants, and are you willing to do the activities and like this, get rid of the distractions, that kind of stuff. So even though this was just for the ALC, I have been asked to share this multiple times because it is extremely impactful. And so I felt like today, because where we are in the world today, I just felt like it was appropriate to share this with you guys as well. It wasn't meant just for the ALC. He just happened to come in and zoom in on the ALC meeting last year. So I just wanted to share it. So it's about 15 minutes long. You'll see a few clips in there where he talks about, like, it'll show us in the ALC, like sitting around the table. So just don't look at that. And then there at the end. But I'll just think about some ahas coming from this. And then there's an activity or on communication that I want to do at the end. So you guys are going to partner up. So just give me a heads up. So if you don't want to sit with somebody, find a partner. That we're going to do a little communication test at the end, talking about how you articulate your value proposition to others, and are you really explaining it well. So I just want to share that. Right. This is Jordan. So for those that are going to buy a ticket in September, this is Jordan.
Thank you for the opportunity. It sounds like I have you all for about 15 or 20 minutes, so I want to make the best of our time. For those of you who don't know me, my name is Jordan Freed. I'm a MAPS executive coach. I've been coaching full-time with MAPS since April 1st of 2015. In that period of time, I've done about 13,000 one-on-one coaching calls. Most of my clients today are large production teams. And I know that all agents to a degree are mental. So I know all of you are a tad crazy, or you wouldn't be in the real estate industry. And I am fluent in Realtor-ese, which means that I can both speak it and I can both understand it. So I say all that just to let you know that I understand that the challenges people in our industry face, both psychologically and inside of their businesses. And what I wanted to cover with you all today was basically three ideas that I could help you kind of get perspective on, that would allow you to navigate the market that we're currently in, the market that's ultimately coming, whether you're finding this market to be kind of ease and elegance, or you're finding this market to be blood and guts. And it seems more like I'm finding people to be on the latter half of that equation, that the market right now feels more like blood and guts than it does ease and elegance. Is that what you all are seeing? Just give me a thumbs up or a thumbs down. Okay, cool. Got it. So the thing I want you to understand is that I am a coach, not a consultant. So consultants are people that come in here and they're going to give you a ton of information, most of which you won't take action on. Coaches are people who ask you questions to mine the wisdom of your head and your heart. And that's ultimately what I'm going to do today. Is I'm going to give you some ideas, and then I'm going to ask you some questions. And what my intention is for you to take those questions and do your best to ultimately answer them, so that we can create some new insights that will lead to different thoughts, different feelings, different actions, and ultimately different results. Okay. So one of the big adjustments that I've been making in my own coaching schedule, or one of the big questions that I've been asking people, is, do your willings equal your wants? do your willings equal your wants? So when you set out to achieve a goal, and that might be to make a certain amount of money. Maybe you want to make $250,000. Maybe you have a goal of selling 50 homes. Whatever that might be, it is a want, right? So your goals are symbolic of what it is that you want. And anytime you have a goal, and it doesn't matter if we're talking about in the business, we could be talking about in your relationships, it could be in your wealth or finances, it might be in your own health. There is a certain amount of things that you have to be willing to do. There are certain activities, there is a lifestyle that accompanies any goal that you have to be willing to live. Would everybody agree on that?
Yes.
Do you all agree? Okay, so like if I want to be physically fit and strong, then I'm going to have to surrender to the lifestyle of weight training, eating right, recovery, right? Just a minimum of those three things. And what I'm finding is, or what I found was back in early January, is there are a lot of people that have wants, but they're not willing to live the lifestyle to get it. And I'm from Kansas, which means that things have to be super simple or I don't understand them. And so to me, if you want something, you have to be willing to do what's necessary to get it. If you aren't willing to do what's necessary to get it, you've got two choices. You need to drop the want, meaning change the goal, get rid of the goal. I know in Bold and other programs, that type of thing, they say, you never change the goal. I'm not of that opinion. I think that things happen, people grow. We create new understandings, realizations. And so if you're not willing to do what's necessary to get the want, then get rid of the want. Or if you're looking at that and you're saying, no, that's something I really want. Like, I can't quit thinking about it. It's something that's super important to me. It's not just desire, it's an obsession. Okay, cool. Then you need to raise your willings. You're going to have to make peace with what is necessary for you to achieve that goal. But here's what you should never do. Is don't hang in the balance between wanting something that you are not willing to do what is necessary to get it. Because what that is, it is the breeding and the battleground of inner civil war. It's that constant negotiation that happens inside of you. Today is the day, I'm going to do it. And then you get distracted, which in a lot of cases, as it relates to building businesses, distractions are unconsciously welcome because they pull us out of the discomfort of whatever it is that we have to do to grow the company.
So true.
Yeah. And so if you're going to increase your willings, then there's a key skill inside of this. And that is that you've got to understand how to stretch and grow your comfort zone. And I want all of you, I'll show you what I mean by this. And you've already done it, by the way, because as far as I've been told, this is an ALC meeting. Is that correct?
Yes.
So ALC means that you're in the top 20% in your market center where you can't be on the ALC. Is that correct?
Yes.
Okay, cool. So draw a little circle. Then I want you to draw a bigger circle around it and then an even bigger circle around that. So essentially what you have is a 3-ring target. Now, inside of the second ring, the middle ring, but outside of the smallest ring, I want you to put a little X. And then inside of the biggest ring, but outside of the second ring, the middle ring, I want you to put another X. Now, all of you have 3 comfort zones: the past, the present, and the future. The past comfort zone is the smallest one. Your present is the middle one. Your future is the largest one. So that begs the question, well, what do the X's represent? So the first X, the one that's inside the middle, outside the smallest, that represents a challenge, something that used to be hard for you, but no longer is. And when I'm talking to a group of realtors, I always ask this question: was there ever a time in your career that just writing a contract for a buyer was something that was uncomfortable for you? And for most of us, the answer is yes. You know, if you think back to your first couple of buyers, when there's all these different things that you have to understand, for most of us, that was an uncomfortable situation. Would you all agree with that?
Yes.
Okay, unless you all went to law school and understand contracts at a level that maybe here in Kansas we don't understand. So if I moved to your area and let's say I called up any one of you and I said, hey, I want to buy this home. I want to offer this much. I'm using this type of financing. I need you to write the contract. Would any of you have like that same sense of like discomfort, that same sense of like, oh God, I don't know what to do? Or has that gone away? Now, so what happened was it was outside, that little X is representative of you writing contracts for buyers. So it was outside your comfort zone, but what happened is you expanded your comfort zone to where now the challenge is no longer outside of it. And for most of you, writing a contract is something you don't even think about anymore. You just do it. So here's the question: how did you do that? How did you expand your comfort zone to make something that was once uncomfortable comfortable? And the most common answer I receive is the Nike slogan: I just did it. I did it over and over and over again. I've never had anyone tell me, yeah, I went to a local university and I started interviewing law professors so that I could deeply understand every word, every sentence, every paragraph of the contract. That's not what you did. You just did it over and over and over and over again. And through repetition and will, your comfort zone expanded. And now that's no longer uncomfortable for you. Write this down. Growth is the intentional expansion of your comfort zone. And the expectation that it isn't going to be hard, the expectation that it isn't going to be frustrating, is one that ultimately crushes a lot of dreams. Because I don't know about you, anything that I have that is worthwhile, anything that I have created that I am proud of, whether that's my health, the relationship I have to my wife, my children, the businesses that I've built, every one of them required doing hard things, every single one of them. But see, the expectation that it's going to be easy, it clashes with reality, and that collision creates a chemical reaction that most of you call frustration. And because you don't want to feel frustrated, you shrink back into your current comfort zone and you stay there, hitting a very natural ceiling of achievement. And you will come up with rationalizations like, oh, I didn't really want that in the first place, or it doesn't really matter. It's not all about the money. Every one of you have an excuse log, so do I, right? The common excuses are usual suspects, the justifications we use to keep ourselves from having to do things that are hard. But look, when you develop the capacity and strength to live a period of your day, a period of your life in the discomfort, knowing that it is stretching and ultimately will eventually become comfortable for you, you are free. You have now become one of the few who can pull a vision out of your head and make it real at will, because you've mastered the expansion of your comfort zone. You've mastered taking your willings and making them equal your wants. And every one of you have done it before. You can do it again. Now, when you're looking at your current comfort zone and your future, there is something that you're avoiding. There is some activity that we all know if we just did that thing, our lives, our businesses, our relationships, our health, they would get so much better. What is the thing that you are actively avoiding that is hanging outside of your comfort zone that if you just decided to work through the pain, to push through the discomfort, you would eventually expand your comfort zone, you would grow as a human being, and your entire life would level up? See, I think of it like this. If I want to get physically fit and strong, I have to lift weights, right? And if I lift a 3-pound weight 10 times, that does not create enough stress on the muscle for the muscle to break down, regrow, and ultimately get stronger, right? That's the way that we develop muscle is we break the muscle down, we feed it, we nourish it, it regrows, but when it regrows, it's a little bit stronger. But nobody ever told you that your spirit does the same thing. And the emotional discomfort that you feel in the pursuit of chasing a vision is just creating little micro tears in your spiritual muscle. And if you won't give up, if you will continue moving forward, it will regrow, it will get stronger, your comfort zone will expand, and then you get this feeling. And the feeling is limitless possibility. Anything is possible for me. And guess what? What's so cool about that? Because every one of us are leaders. We have people in our personal and professional lives that we influence and lead. The question in my mind is never, am I parenting the right way? The question is, am I the adult I want my kids to be? Have I shown them, not talked about it? Have I shown them how to go out, how to build a life by design, not by default? Have I been a walking, talking, living, breathing model of that for the people who I am honored and am ultimately chosen to lead? Because if I haven't, man, that's so cool, because that's where I can start. So do your willings equal your wants? Here's the second thing. What's the difference between knowledge and wisdom? Knowledge is what you know. Wisdom is what you live. See, you may have knowledge of how to read, right? Like it's left to right, letters become words, words become sentences, sentences become paragraphs, paragraphs become pages. You may know how to do that. You may have knowledge of it. But see, you won't ever get the wisdom that is readily available to you if you don't actually read. So push-ups are another great way to think of this. Is like, you may know that you get down in a plank position, right? You lower yourself to the floor and push yourself back up. The knowledge of that isn't going to make you any stronger. The wisdom of getting yourself to do it over and over and over and over again, that's how you become someone else. So what is it that you know, but you aren't converting it into wisdom? What is that bit of knowledge? You know, I run into this all the time when I was a newer coach, because I focus so much on the database. I think it's so underutilized. And it's like the difference between growing a business with organic produce versus junk food. The database will always win. And so I would talk to people about a 36 touch. Yeah, I know about the 36 touch. Well, that's cool, bucko, but you don't learn it. You don't follow it. You know all this stuff. You've got the MREA and the page numbers and all this stuff memorized, but you don't live a lick of it. So guess what? You don't get the payoff from it. What's the knowledge that you need to convert to wisdom that would make everything in your life get a little bit better, burn a little bit brighter? And then lastly, where do you get your sense of safety and security? Where do you get your sense of safety and security? See, I'll never forget listening to a story. It was from one of my all-time favorite authors. His name is Jim Quick. Jim is all about how to learn, right? And in the world of the digital deluge of distraction, how do we become super learners in this world that we find ourselves in? And he told a story about how he was walking behind his home. It was a wooded area. And he looked up and there was this bird, and the bird was like really like, it was sitting on this, he wouldn't even call it a branch. He said it was like a twig, and the twig is like really bending under the weight of the bird. And he said it was a little bit windy. So the twig is like bouncing, right, with this bird on it. It looks like it can break at any second. And he said it was such a great metaphor, because does that bird actually have any concern about that twig or that branch breaking? No, because it has trust in something. What does it have trust in, everyone? Its ability to fly. And see, what I see all the time with people as it relates to their safety and security is rather than focusing, doubling down on their ability to fly, their skill set that turns into a will set that ultimately makes a mindset, they're running around duct taping branches. If you think that your safety and security has anything to do with something external to you, you're still an amateur at the game of life. Because you think that you aligning circumstances, getting everything in order according to your preferences is going to set you free internally. You have created that, many of you, only to find that it doesn't work. But the problem manufacturer in your head is a sophisticated home inspector. You will solve one, it will create another. It's true security, true safety is found in our skill set. It's found in our will set. It's found in this part of us that no one can ever take from us. Because if it's outside of you, understand you're always vulnerable of it being taken away from you. And so the question is easy. Are you going to live a life of fear or a life of faith? They're both made up. So Diana Kokoska, who was a mentor to me, some of you may not know that name. She was the president of Bold for a long time. She said, life is a delusion. Pick a good one.
Love it.
So I would love to get just one or two ahas from our little talk here today.
Okay. My superintendent.
Oh, man. I was like, you're like, I know, right? Yeah. You're like, you're taking. I don't know how we got so who'd like to share a couple of aha from that? Or I will call on. No, I'm kidding. Hey.
So in regards to growing a business with a database, that your business is like organic produce or junk food. Because that's my business is database. And I run a team, and so trying to my agents like the difference between going up in your database, your sphere, and that versus like being in a lead and done a little bit of lead stuff. But you know, a lot of that's junk. I mean, you might get a lead, but they might tell you the wrong name. They might say they already have an agent, and you know they're not serious. So think, oh, well, if I get lead, get all these clients and fail. A lot of that, I mean, over junk. But if you're people know they like you and trust you
Already.
you know, then that's the one to
100%. 100%. Who else wants to share? That you wrote down. Stuck with you.
actually goes say, Carla actually, I'm a new agent, so I just uploaded my contacts to Stan. And she told me, go ahead and sit down and spend a couple months just for getting all the everything. She spent a couple months on hers.
Yep.
My initial plans.
Well, the database too. I mean, those are people that already know you, like you, maybe love you and trust you already. It's easy to make a phone call, and and it's just and they're yours. They're your leads. You own them. It's not from a third party that you have to pay for, that you have to do another split with, give them any of your money. They are your leads for one. So love on them. They want you to love on them. They will give you their business if you love on them. That's it. Who else? That's why you write down.
I know. I really like the reminder of frustration, that you don't want to feel frustrated and you revert back to your comfort zone. Because really, being uncomfortable is when we go journey of being lonely, journey of pushing yourself and your mindset. It's not the reward at the end that matters, it's the journey getting there. So learn to love the struggle.
Yeah. Anybody else want to share? Here's a question I'm going to ask all of you. What are you avoiding? What are you avoiding to reach your full potential? For some, it's cold call. For some, it's going up. For some, it's uploading your database. For some, it's calling and making sure you have their right address or calling them. It could be a million things, but there is going to be one thing that could level up your business that you are avoiding today that could change the trajectory of your business. What is it? And that's, be a deep thing. It could be, I say, simple, not easy. Find your one. Get over it. Okay. Like, get out of your own way. The business is there. I mean, I know David looks at Jim, we look at stats all the time on what's going around in our market. There are homes selling all day, every day. Are you there? Somebody is. Why is it not you? So, the only thing that stuck with me personally, as a parent of two adult children now, was I the adult I wanted my kids. If you have young kids, I love that. Am I the adult I want my kids? And I think already works here in the. But I'm like, I still have a chance for my grandkids someday. So there still is time. I'm super excited about that at some point. The Lord willing. So anyway, I wanted to share this because he is coming in September. I listened to all of his stuff, and this was not a promo for him. I did with the ALC last year, and I just felt like it was a good mindset today on where we are. We're like conversations we're having with agents and kind of what's going on, and I just feel like it's cut out all the noise, cut out all the distractions. Stop listening to the news. Don't listen to the radio. Make your phone calls. Run your business with the people that know you, love you, trust you. That's the easiest phone call to make, and they will give you the business. Oh,
Today, I know this was super.
you can. I don't know what's next.
Thank you for the
Okay, no, you're good. I just want to look. Oh, hold on, because I'm not technically outing it to all the things. Your piece of paper. So it's going to take like 2 minutes. So find a partner. You both have each a piece of paper. You don't want to do it. We'll let the agents do it. All right. So you're going to sit with your back to each other. Sit with your back to each other. They're like, I don't know what's happening.
I'm gonna listen.
You have enough room? Okay.
Come on. You want to do it? Y'all can do it. We're doing a little communication activity. Here's like everybody can get there. All right. So your back is to each other. So here's what you're going to do. The person on the right is going to explain to the person on the left how to make a paper airplane. Hold on. What you're going to do is you both are going to make the same paper airplane. One person's going to tell you how to do it. The other person's going to do it. You're going to do them together. And when you get done, let's see if they match. Here's what you're going to learn is when you communicate with people, specifically over email, over text, over the phone, and not face to face, what you think you're saying, more than likely, is not what they're hearing. And right now, in today's world, the value proposition, which is all that we're talking about, that if you cannot articulate what your value proposition is, you're going to have a big problem in the real estate. So this is all about communication. Are you clear, decisive, understandable? And this is super fun. So let's see whose airplanes match.
So who's the
The right person is telling the left person how to make. You're both talk about the process.
Is it right side from the back to the front or from the front to the back?
You're the side, you're the talker.
Oh,
You're
no.
you are. Listen. It's way harder than
All right, we're gonna hold it again. And we're gonna not take.
A 90-degree fine. Now, the other.
And then.
Oh, okay.
So that, and then that's gonna be on the other side.
Center.
Makes like.
Bond.
That side. Okay. So when you. Okay, now we're. So that's. Are you We're gonna do another thing, trying to react. And we're gonna corner to the middle. Yeah, you got it. When y'all are done. Yep, same.
Yeah. And then you. On the other side. Now.
All right, if everybody gets.
Yeah, so not. You're facing that paper.
I got it.
See like that. Ready?
Yeah, I just put it there.
You kind of feel.
Yeah. Right, now, Pat, you're trying to build a NASA rocket. I know. All right. All right, everybody get done. So compare your airplanes to each other, and if they are not matching, think about, okay, was it how I articulated it? Was I unclear with my message, my directions? Do I know my right from my left? You know, horizontal versus vertical, and so I think it's just a really fun exercise.
Yeah, they say comparison is the meat of joy.
Comparison is the leap of joy. There you go. There you go. Yeah, and they've got their NASA rocket. I know. And they did so beautiful. So y'all was so much perfect. Patty Nelson's on it perfect. How'd y'all do?
Great at the instructions.
Oh, gotcha. Okay. With the information. So details, a little more details. Yeah. How about y'all? What would you learn from that?
Rob doesn't know what we're trying.
I'm just kidding, yeah. It's way harder, and I thought I was being very clear about it, but, you know.
Yeah, and I was like, sometimes when you feel like you're have clear communication to others, what they're hearing is not what you think that you're saying.
Yeah.
Yeah, and so I think just being mindful of that and where we are today.
Yes.
And it's just a super fun activity. So Gary, you wanna come on up? Gary Skinner, Junkie Crab. Got a lunch for us today. Y'all, that was simple. Ta-da!
So I do junk removal. We obviously we do everything from like single item pickups all the way to order homes, infestations, wild stuff.
Cut up boats, cut up hot tub.
Yeah, we cut up
off
boats,
properties.
so, yeah, that was actually for you.
That's what it is, yeah.
Yeah, there was a boat in the backyard and yeah, we cut it in half and then there was a truck back there that was unidentified. Ran the VIN on it, found out it was the neighbor and told the neighbor he had like 24 hours, otherwise it's gonna be taken to the impound, you're gonna take it. Yeah, it's crazy stuff, but yeah, so with normal junk, well, with us, I'm not a franchise. What you see is what you get. I'm kind of, there's not a filter a lot of times. I get embarrassed as soon as it comes out of my mouth. But with customers though, like the huge thing with me is compassion. When we're, you guys see a bunch of crazy stuff. People pass away in their home. So there's a bunch of emotions that are tied to that stuff. We're not just gonna come in and we look for money, mail, pictures, and free as we're taking things out of a home. Somebody's been living in a house for 30 years. And then they're emotionally tied to those items. It's kind of difficult sometimes to get rid of that stuff. But we'll look through the items and put them in piles and ask 1,000 times, does this go, does this go, does this go? And then and a lot of times we find things that they forgot about. Also, we donate a lot of stuff. My number one place is the Dawson County Food Bank and Thrift Store. It's a nonprofit. We're donating items as they have a line of people getting food. It's a pretty dang good feeling. And we donated a ton of stuff. The other week we did a garage clean out for a Keller Williams agent. And it was a Saturday. It was a 16-foot box truck that filled it full. I drove it to Alabama, to the middle of Alabama, to a refugee that didn't have beds, but we basically furnished their home. That was really cool. Yeah, any questions?
So I'll be walking
Yeah.
the board for
Yeah.
him real quick, cause he just did, he dropped a can, how big is your can that you dropped?
Dumpsters, I got dumpsters too.
So you dropped the dumpster,
yeah.
he did three single, like with your trailer, or two
Yes.
trips? You did two trips for me.
I can't remember.
Okay, and then he helped a neighbor, he dropped a can for a neighbor of ours that was buying our house, so he did an amazing thing, and the other thing is that he and his guys help. That's like a walking builder for my client that did the boat. She had lost her brother and all that, so he is very compassionate, very amazing. They were just over the moon after talking with him. So if you need him to talk to your clients, whatever, he is brilliant with that. He's done an amazing job for my clients and myself. So.
And it doesn't cost money for advice. So if you have a customer that's going through a bunch of stuff and you're overwhelmed or they're specifically overwhelmed, tell them to call me or I'll come out and meet them, wherever it is, and then we'll go over donation process. So like if there's a thrift store that has a truck that can come pick up stuff for free, that's the first thing I'm going to do. I'm going to look up, because typically these are multiple thousands of dollars, and they're not ready for that. They're not ready for that, and sometimes they don't have any money until closing, which I can do up to like $1,000 after that. I can do. Was that contingency or yeah? Pay closing.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I'll look routes that are that nobody's thinking about because we do this all the time. So whatever's best for the client. So and whatever makes you guys they get the referral.
Well, and I just want to add too. So I've known Gary a long time. I met Gary. He actually did personal stuff for us when we moved. That's how I met him, and then got him in, this whole path. But what you see is what you get. He shows up. He's got a logo shirt on. He's always professional. He communicates well, which I think is so important. And it just, your heart is the biggest thing, obviously, with you that you have, and we so appreciate that. Last year, for those that were not here last year, our Red Day was ridiculous last year at Spectrum Autism Center, and he and his crew spent, 8 hours hauling truckloads of, moving gravel, just like workhorses, free of charge all day for their whole company to provide services to us for Red Day. So not only are you a great human, but you're also a great partner for us, and we highly appreciate you and just all that you do for our Cures for Kids and our agents here. And so I personally thank you, and I know that